Hello guys, it's Micah, and it's been a while since I've recorded last. So, as you may or may not know, depending on who's viewing this, I tend to binge record a lot, and by the time this one will ever come out, it's gonna be like months after the fact of when I've recorded it. So, as of right now, as of in October, which that's gonna shock some of you probably. This is oh my god. I'm disoriented a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm really sick right now, and I've got allergies because I've got a cat. I adopted a cat, even though I'm allergic, and she just kind of strolled up on the street, entered my backyard on my birthday, and she liked me immediately, and despite all my efforts of trying to find who could have potentially owned her, because she was clearly owned beforehand. Like, she wasn't fearful of people, and she's litter trained and everything. You can probably hear her, she's playing with a toy. But yeah, I adopted a cat who just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and I named her Mabon, because she's autumn colors, and Mabon is one of the fall sabbats within paganism, and it seemed to really suit her. So yeah. And other than that, I'm really sick because migraine, and I don't know, I caught something that's been going around, and stress has been a huge factor, because college, man. College life is not great. Like, when they tell you that the homework load is completely different from high school, they are not fucking kidding around. God damn. But anyway, let's continue. I don't even really remember where we left off, other than going through the character introductions all over again. So that's really all I remember, so I'm hoping I'm caught up in my own head. So yeah, let's go. Earth Day 25 Sextilis AM 313. I open my eyes. My room is bathed in sunlight. I groggily sit up and just sort of wait until I have enough energy to stand. Once I manage to do that, I grab a towel and a fresh uniform. It's only then that I realize I'm still wearing my factory clothes from yesterday. I go downstairs thinking how unpleasant it is to change out of work clothes just to change back into work clothes. Mason in the morning is actually pleasant. It is so much different from the place it becomes at night. For one thing, it's quieter when there are no patrons around to start naked games of hide and seek. That's not to say that all traces of last night are gone. Bottles of booze and cigarette butts are scattered around. There's also a topless girl snoring on the couch over there. When I get to the bathroom, I peek inside first. Sometimes you find a passed out girl here, too. Thankfully, it's empty today, so I go in. My cat's just really staring intently at the toy that I have for her, like it's gonna move if she stares at it long enough. Because I literally was just playing with her with it for like a few minutes, and then I just kind of like left it with her, and now she's just staring at it going like, move, move, like, why aren't you moving? And it's like, I'm sorry, cat, I'm sorry, I need to record stuff. I come out of the bathroom, changed into a cleaner set of the same clothes I was just wearing. It's a small change, but I feel refreshed. I leave Mason after drinking a glass of water in the kitchen. I always skip breakfast. Hey, me too! Except I only skip it long enough so that I can just buy it at the college, because 8 a.m. morning classes. If you think you can accomplish an 8 a.m. morning class in college on your first year, you're an idiot, because there's no way you can. And you'll find out, just like the rest of us suckers who thought we could do it, how actual torturous it is, because it's awful. Don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it, brah. Oh, here we go. The morning air outside feels nice. Apparently people who aren't from around here can smell something foul in the air even on days like this, but we proles hardly notice it anymore. Mason has its own large courtyard, but the street that runs along it is pretty out of the way. I have to go to a wider street closer to the city to get to the nearest omnibus stop. The factory I work at is actually located in a proles district, but it is faster to take the omnibus from the city than to trudge through a tangled maze of narrow alleys. Along my way, I see a group of men and women sitting on the wayside. Good morning! They smile and wave at me. People around here used to scowl at me if they saw me entering or leaving Mason, but now they're quite friendly. Either they've heard about my circumstances or they just stopped caring. There are already a couple other factory workers waiting at the omnibus stop when I get there. The factory has thousands of workers, so I don't know anyone else waiting here with me. I only recognize them from their uniforms, and I'm sure they wouldn't know me either if they just saw me in my normal clothes. Still, we exchange smiles as a greeting. Before long, I see the omnibus arriving. I get on the floating platform. Actually, sometimes I still find the omnibus scary. The platform wobbles every time someone steps on it, and also I feel much lighter than normal after I get on, and I always worry about what would happen if the driver suddenly ran out of mana. I know that's a silly thought. The bourgeois never run out of mana like we proles do, but still. They are outside, the omnibus shifts all of a sudden, and we're carried forward. In a few seconds, the omnibus starts to pick up speed. After making a few stops to pick up and drop off passengers, the omnibus reaches an intersection where it should turn left towards the factory. However, I notice that the street is closed today. There are some government workers there. They look like they're installing a new magic machine. The omnibus makes a right turn instead. Oh, we're taking a detour through the city center. I haven't seen this part of the city in such a long time. Everything outside my window is so shiny. Even at noon, the places where we proles live never looked like this. The center of Overture is like a place out of a fairy tale. Huge, high buildings that you have to strain to see the tops of, and even taller towers pierce high into the sky. I'm captivated by it all. Even the sidewalks are beautiful to me. I see some people flying in their own private carriages instead of taking the omnibus, and they're all wearing really beautiful dresses. Even the people who are walking down the street look classy. I also noticed a lot of police officers. There's at least one of them on every street corner. That makes sense. Since everyone is capable of using magic in the city, the police have to be around to deal with anyone who misuses magic. The omnibus pulls up to another stop. Some passengers get off, only passengers get on the platform. The omnibus sways as it tries to compensate for the shifting weight. My stomach doesn't like this at all. And it's Franz and Aretha before Elise ever knew them. Ah! Among the new passengers, there's a young boy and a young girl who look slightly older than me. From their uniforms, I guess they're students. The two teenagers sit next to each other. Perspection switch. Perception? I probably should have said perception. I don't know what I said before that. Oh my god. Aretha and I are taking our usual omnibus, but there is something unusual about it this morning. What's with this omnibus? Well, the driver is nullifying a bit too much gravity, but is that a problem? Not that. I was talking about the unusually large number of proles. Oh, that. The factory workers usually get off before our stop, but the main factory road is closed today. I heard they're installing a new drinking fountain. Didn't you read the news? Did you read that in the Overture Science Journal? No. Then I must not have read it. Nerd. We enjoy the commute in silence for a while. In silence for a while, feeling the cool breeze coming from the front of the omnibus. Aretha, you mentioned nullifying gravity, right? Uh-huh. Before omnibuses were made as magic machines, they were only driven by controlling the surrounding air, weren't they? Yes, but it was more difficult to steer because an omnibus was heavy. The driver had to have a strong faith to move an omnibus around. On the other hand, nullifying some gravity allows an omnibus to be almost as light as a personal carriage, even though it is much bigger. So why didn't traditional omnibuses use the same method as today's omnibuses? Because the driver would have had to be really skilled in both faith and willpower magic. It's not a problem now because anyone can operate magic machines even though they're not skilled in the requisite traits. For example, you're not gifted in courage, but you can use your stove at home, right? Interesting. Actually, I always wonder about that. Why can I use my stove even though I'm not gifted in courage? Aretha's eyes flare up. As a magical engineering student, she must like this topic. You know how fire is cast, of course. Well, of course, fire equals summon courage. That's very basic. Right. When you cast fire, you actually perform 3 separate acts. First, you focus on the courage trait. What actually happens is that a little bit of mana in your body is infused with courage. Second, you invoke the summon ability. What actually happens here is that your body consumes the courage-infused mana to summon the fire. And it's only then, third, that you release the magic from your hand. Aretha pauses to make sure I understand. You know what? I never really think of these steps when casting a spell because they're done unconsciously, but I remember learning about this in IMS. You mean Introduction to Magical Suffering, right? Evidently, she remembers how I used to complain about IMS. Anyway, what your stove at home does is the second and third steps. It summons fire using courage-infused mana and releases the magic. But machines can't do the first step. That's what you're touching the stove and focusing on courage is for. When you touch the stove and focus on courage, your body infuses courage into a portion of your mana, and then the courage-infused mana flows into the stove. And then the stove can perform the second and third steps automatically. I stroke my chin. I've learned this before, I'm sure, but it's good to be reminded of how magic machinery works. In a very real sense, it's the basis of our modern world. So basically, a magic machine takes mana that's already infused with one or more magic traits by a human, and then it invokes magical abilities using that mana. In other words, a machine is just a way to automate the process of invoking summon, amplify, nullify, transform, or any combination of these magical abilities. Yeah, I think I get it. Being gifted in a magical trait means you have natural talent to invoke magical abilities on that particular magical trait. But even if you're not gifted in a trait, you can still infuse your mana with that trait. You just can't easily invoke abilities using that mana. However, when you use a magic machine, you don't have to invoke any magical abilities because the magic machine does it for you. Therefore, it doesn't matter what magical traits you're gifted in. Bingo! My friends is smart. Mummy is happy. Sometimes she claims to be my lover, other times my elder sister. For some reason today, she is my mother. Though, I've got thought here, and it's more about why they're introducing all of these things about the world. Like, I don't know, you just kind of assume that the characters would already kind of have these discussions before you even come into contact with them, rather than, like, having them as you're there. So I have to wonder what the purpose is, other than just baselining what this world is like and what to expect from it. I have to wonder if there's something else involved, considering there's 6 different endings, right? So if you're learning about this, and when it came to Maison de Beauvoir, it's actually the hideout for Libertad, or at least through the route that I went through. I don't know if that's different for any of the other routes, but it makes you wonder why they're introducing it, because they introduced Maison de Beauvoir as a place that was very significant to Elise, because that was, like, her only saving grace for the most part. But then it turned into Libertad's hideout on top of that, so then it ended up having even more significant importance than that. And within that kind of storytelling, you think that everything that they introduce has some importance other than just what you think it's being introduced for. So, in other words, basically, I'm just kind of like, is there any other purpose to this? Because there might be. Like, there legit may be something else. So, I don't know. Sip my water and continue. While Aretha is still laughing, our omnibus comes to a halt in front of the conservatoire. We get up from our seats and step off the omnibus. I take a look at the pearls again as I get off the bus. A girl is gazing longingly at the conservatoire. I can feel a faint aura radiating from her, courageous and compassionate. Franz? Coming. From the omnibus stop, we saunter across the spacious conservatoire courtyard. The courtyard is surrounded by 3 buildings on its east, west, and north sides and is open to the street on the south. The omnibus stop is right across the street. If you drew a line from the omnibus stop to the north building's main entrance, that line would be parallel to the east and west buildings and divide the courtyard into 2 rectangles of equal size. The north building is the main building and is much larger than the other 2. If someone tells you to go to the conservatoire building without specifying which one, you can easily assume that he means the north building. It's also where most academic activities are conducted, so if you're looking for a classroom or a laboratory, that's where you should go. The west building is the smallest of the 3. The west building, the smallest of the 3, is for administrative purposes, which is why it's usually only crowded at the beginning of an academic year or right before graduation. The east building is for everything else. It houses facilities that aren't directly related to magical science and engineering, such as the library, the art room, and various club rooms. Oh hey, it's already the weekend tomorrow, isn't it? Tomorrow is Light Day, so yes indeed. Do you have any plans? No. Then let's go see a kintoscope show! Kintoscope is a relatively modern magic machine invention. It makes pictures move. It's like watching a play, but there are no actors on stage. There is a relevant choice with this that I have to do differently and I don't really want to, but at the same time I need to make a different ending, so I'm going to anyway. Oh man, this is gonna suck, but it's at the same time I hope it's good. Like I don't know. This hurt me. This is gonna hurt me so bad. Well, there's not even a stage, there's just a wall, and this machine projects images onto the wall from a long strip of individual pictures through a shutter. Apparently, it works by continuously running the strip of pictures over a projecting light and alternately opening and closing the shutter, which is controlled by using the same wind magic as the one used to levitate a carriage or an omnibus, or to rotate the hour and minute hands of a chronometer. A magician operates the kintoscope by casting illumination magic to produce the light required to project the images. It's really quite a fascinating little machine. A kintoscope show, huh? You don't have anything to do tomorrow, right? It's not like you'll suddenly get a girlfriend today. Hey, it could happen. I feel like they're referencing Elise right now. Oh god, it really feels like they're referencing Elise right now.
Yeah, right.
Fine, I'll go see a kintoscope show with you tomorrow.
Great, let's meet at the theater at noon.
Sure. Aretha and I stop walking when we reach the north building's entrance.
So, are you going to the conference hall now?
I'll look for Professor Poe before that.
Okay, good luck on your presentation.
Yeah.
Not feeling confident?
Well, to be honest, no, not really.
Relax, friends. I'll teach you a little magic charm. Whenever you get nervous, say my name 3 times in your heart. It will make the nervousness go away.
Last time I decided to try the magic charm, so this time I'm going to not try the magic charm. Even though I really fucking want to, because Aretha is so fucking cute, and it's just like, gosh darn it, brush your fucking, ugh. Yeah, I'm sure saying your name will chase away my nervousness, only to be replaced by a paralyzing fear so that I can't speak or even move. Is that right?
Oh yeah, you'll say my name and you'll stiffen right up. You won't be able to help yourself.
See you tomorrow, Aretha. Well, when she's right, she's right.
See you, friends.
So I guess you just act normally with her after that. She doesn't get all blushy and like, oh my god, it was a joke. Huh. That's too bad. I like it when she blushes. I like it when there's like a little bit of romantic tension between her and Franz, because like, it feels like it's something that could totally happen if it wasn't for everything that happens with Elise and Frederick. Like, it feels like something that would just be eventual. But I don't know, maybe I'm just a romantic at heart. There is still an hour before the symposium begins, but I already noticed many unfamiliar faces in uniforms among the people in the main hall. They're attendees from institutions outside the conservatoire. I head straight to the Magic Systems Laboratory. In the lab, Professor Poe is standing near a small floating ball of water about as wide as my palm. His left hand is pointed at the floor under the ball of water.
Good morning, Franz. Mind your steps. There is a zero-gravity space in front of me.
Good morning, Professor. What are you doing?
Watch.
Keeping his left hand pointed at the floor, he uses his right hand to pick up some green tea leaves from his desk and slip them inside the ball of water. Next, he brings his right hand a few inches under the ball and opens his palm.
Woo! Fire!
A small fire appears above his open hand, heating the ball of water. The water gradually turns green because of the tea leaves inside. Just a few seconds later, Professor Poe closes his hand to extinguish the fire. He now picks up a mug from his desk and brings it directly under the ball of tea. With a sudden flare, he pulls his left hand up, releasing the spell, and the ball of tea pops perfectly into the mug.
Phew!
He turns to me and wags his eyebrows up and down as he takes a sip of tea. I would do the same thing if I could do that shit. Like, man, it would make making tea so much easier. But then a portion of me would also still want to use a teapot. Actually, I bought like a 20-piece set at Value Village, which is a thrift store that's really huge in Canada. And I got it for like $15, and it came with teacups and saucers, and I was so fucking happy. And like, I believe they were made in China, and like they're like heavy dishes, like they're olden style dishes, so like it's a lot more significant that China made them rather than like everything's made in China. Blah! It's more significant because it's with different material, and it was older, and like old stuff isn't as easy to make back then. So if that makes sense, like, yeah, it's really cool. Oh, now I have to remember how to do his voice. Oh, shit.
Ready for the symposium, young man?
Wait a minute. What were you doing?
As you could see, I was experimenting.
He swirls his tea in my direction to remind me.
And I am happy to report that the experiment was a success.
Well, I wouldn't call it an experiment. All you did was make tea.
Wrong, Franz. What I did was try out a novel way of making tea.
Why? We already know how to make tea.
Oh, let me give you a life lesson.
He takes another sip.
Here's a secret to make your life infinitely more exciting. Whenever you find yourself about to ask why, stop and instead ask why not.
Okay, the cat jumped into the box. That's the sound I heard. I was a little bit concerned. Whenever there is like a mysterious noise where you're just like, what the fuck? And you have an animal in the house, investigate it. It might be something bad. Because when I didn't do that the last time, she chewed the shit out of my phone charger cord, and I had to buy a new one. So that was great.
Suppose someone said to you, let's make a carriage that doesn't only fly, but also spins in the air. Your first instinct might be to ask, why? Because you know that flying straight should be easier and more efficient. But that is not a reason only to make a spinning carriage.
I feel like I said that wrong. Hang on.
But that is not a reason not to make a spinning carriage. It is merely a reason to make a carriage that flies straight. No one will stop you if you want to build a spinning carriage because, why not? The day we stop asking why not will be the day we stop innovating, which may also be, well, the day we stop advancing as a civilization. The breadth of human knowledge is an accumulation of acting upon the why nots.
Professor Poe calmly drinks his tea again. Man, Professor Poe, you're making me want to get tea rather than water, and I feel like that would be more beneficial because I've had peppermint tea, and like, peppermint tea is really great for like opening up your air tubes, I find. So, and that's really great for someone like me who is asthmatic. Not to mention, it tastes fucking delicious. Like, yes. Though, I don't have a teapot, so I've been, or a kettle, so I've literally like been boiling hot water on a stove and then switching it to a measuring glass as my teapot, sticking 2 tea bags in and just using a measuring cup, like one of those glass big measuring cups for liquid as my teapot. Adult life when you first move out, even though it's been like 3 years, going on 4. Actually, it might already be 4 years. Yeah, no, it's just 3 years. It's 3 years right now. It's 3 years. Not 4. It's working on going to 4. But oh, it's gonna be weird when it gets to 4, because it's gonna be like, damn, man. Damn. How do you make a spinning carriage?
I'll show you someday.
I'm not sure I want to know. I think I'd get nauseous. Yes, I'm ready for the symposium.
Very good. Let's go.
He gulps down the rest of his tea and we're off. Okay. So I think I'm gonna just end it here for right now because after the whole thing with Professor Poe and tea, I really want tea. And I should probably make myself food because I haven't really had anything decent to eat in like hours. Actually, it's been like all day. I am the worst. So I'm probably gonna like make a pizza, get some food into me, maybe check and see if the Walking Dead season that was on TV is now on Netflix because goddamn, I've been waiting so patiently and just, I've heard it's on Netflix now so I can watch it, so it's like, okay, good. Because I don't have cable or satellite because extra expenses when you're already poor as fuck? Hell no! So yeah, I'm gonna go. See you in the next one, guys.
Hey guys, and that was an octave higher. If you're interested in checking out the next episode, then just click on the icon on the right hand side. If you're interested in any of the other games that I have listed here that have very similar storylines that are pretty intricate, I would say to check them out as well. And if you want to subscribe, just click my icon and we're good to go. So yeah, see you later.